the potential to be the best agent in all of Valorant. So for the past couple of months, I solo queued Yoru non-stop, taking him all the way to Immortal. In this video, I'm going to talk about everything I learned and what you need to know to play him at a high level. And at the end of this video, I'll answer the question everyone wants to know: is he really worth playing to rank up faster? A good Yoru is nearly impossible to counter. As a matter of fact, during the making of this video, the #1 ranked player in all of North America was a Yoru one-trick. Let's start by talking about how to use Yoru's clone. The clone is the most straightforward piece of utility in his entire kit. I like to think of his clone as initiator utility. Before entering a site, I throw a clone down to activate cipher trips, killjoy setups, or bait out utility in general. The other way I use it is to gather information. On defense, I would throw a clone to see if anyone is pushing a certain spot on the map, and on attack, I would use it to clear corners. Most people will instantly shoot the clone, so it's pretty reliable to get information. But I do not recommend fake cloning often. Fake cloning is great for getting clips, but it's a risky play that usually isn't worth it. Again, most people will instantly shoot the clone, so I would just save the clone and swing off it. You can also right-click your clone to place it on the ground. Then you can hide in a separate spot, activate your clone, and swing off it from a different angle. Avoid wasting his clone. If you're gonna use it, then it should help you get a kill or take space. In general, I save my clone for side executes, retakes, or use it like a flash. Speaking of flashes, let's talk about how to use Yoru's. Yoru's flash is very unique. When you throw his flash, the enemy can't see the initial toss. Plus, the flash can bounce off surfaces. With that in mind, there are 3 key ways I learned to flash enemies. The first is to throw my flash off surfaces at a 45-degree angle, not off a far wall. This works great for 1v1 fights and lowers the chances of full blinding myself. Second, I learned about these one-way flashes that don't blind me and give me time to equip my gun before peeking. They are best to use when peeking aggressively, and you can surprise players pretty easily. They're nearly impossible to dodge as well. And the third way is to combine my flash with my teleport. To do this, I had to throw my teleport in an aggressive location and take the teleport as I flash an angle where an enemy is playing. It's super strong to get kills, but you have to keep in mind to turn away from your flash as you teleport so you don't get full blind. However, the best way to improve at using Yoru's flash is to stop relying on it too much. It might sound odd, but getting too caught up with flashing can actually harm your gameplay. Yes, I needed to know how to flash, but many times I was thinking about where and when to flash too much. This actually distracted me, and a lot of flashes were completely unnecessary for winning the round. The key was not to get stuck thinking I have to blind an enemy every time I take a gunfight. I think new Yoru players will have a problem flashing too little or too much, but a skilled Yoru player knows when it's smart to use a flash and when it's better to take a gunfight without it. The best times I learned to flash was when I would combo it with a teleport while exiting a smoke, or when I know enemies are unable to dodge the flash. With these flash methods in mind, I definitely started to improve with my flashes in ranked.
Joining A.
I'm dead.
Now let's talk about how to use Yoru's teleport. For starters, the direction you're facing when you teleport will be the same direction as when you exit your teleport, so it's important to know if you should turn around when you use his teleport. Secondly, if you right-click his teleport, then you can place it as an anchor. This is great if you want to use your teleport as a safe way to exit a gunfight. But note that his teleport is much slower than Chambers, so you can't teleport out of fights easily. If you do try to teleport out of a gunfight, then try to jump while looking down and turning so that you're a harder target to hit. Another way to use your teleport is by faking it so enemies don't know where you are. This can really confuse them. Oh, that guy actually got the smoke. But above all, using Yoru's teleports is about knowing his lineups. I had to go over multiple lineups on each map to figure out which ones were the best to use. This took a long time to figure out. I had to get into multiple custom games and try out these teleport lineups to determine the best ones. There are so many lineups, but few lineups are good to use and a lot are easy to mess up. For example, a teleport that takes you into the enemy spawn may seem cool, but trust me, that's not how you want to play Yoru. A lot of people will camp your teleport, and going into the enemy's spawn really isn't helping your team. It's just a risky play for players who are greedy for kills. Lineups that are useful are ones that help you rotate between sites or help you entry onto a site. These are the most practical and the least troll way to use his teleport. But memorizing all the teleport lineups and flash spots on each map was getting overwhelming. So I decided to make a document screenshotting all the essential lineups and flash spots for every map. I made this document available to you guys as well. I also made a very detailed video going over all the Yoru tech I learned on each map. I talk about the various teleport lineups I use, flash spots, ideal positions, and other tips for each map. I left the link to that video in the description as well. And if you found that helpful, then I would really appreciate if you dropped a like, subscribed, and joined my Discord. We're trying to reach 50,000 subscribers, and it really helps me keep making more videos for you guys. Now let's talk about Yoru's ultimate. Yoru's ultimate is great for gathering information, but it's really easy to die using it as well. There's a long animation time between exiting your ult and pulling out your weapon, so most enemies will instantly gun you down as you exit your ult. If you're gonna use your ult, buy a shorty or a bucky since they are very strong up close and have fast equip animations. Before you exit your ult, try to throw a flash or place a clone in front of the enemy. This will give you the extra seconds you need to get a free kill. And when you do exit your ult, try jumping behind the enemy so that you're a little harder to shoot at. Now another way to use his ult is to combo it with other agents' ults. Try comboing your ult with Brim ults, Fade ults, Breach ults, Sky ults, and Sova ults. As you are running around, ping where the enemies are playing and try to exit your ult when you see the enemy is distracted with other ults. This can help you secure more kills.
In here, spam this, spam my ping, spam my body. There we go. Right here. Backside, on site still.
Get a hit, Scott.
But the most underrated tip for his ult is to stop using it for kills. Many times you should place an anchor TP and then ult onto site just to get information. Tell your teammates to wait so you can clear the site for them instead of being hyper focused on killing one enemy. After learning how to use all of Yoru's abilities, I felt way more confident and it definitely boosted my gameplay. But I was still struggling to win consistently. Some games I would play amazing and other games I'd play really bad. Inconsistency is a result of a suboptimal playstyle. The best way to fix this is to analyze how a high level player uses your agent and apply pieces of their gameplay to your own playstyle. For me, that meant analyzing the master himself, Eggster. So after binging hours of Eggster's playstyle, I noticed many ways I could improve on my own gameplay. One thing I picked up from Eggster's playstyle is that he force buys pretty often. Yes, he has insane aim, but forcing as Yoru makes sense at any elo. You see on attack, he'd force up with the Stinger, and when you flash TP onto a site, you're usually up close to the enemies. So the Stinger is viable because it can outgun a Vandal or Phantom in close range. On defense, he'd opt for a Bucky or Judge because he could teleport out after getting a quick close range kill. I rarely considered force buying before, but with Yoru, it's possible to consistently pull off kills with these weaker guns. Next, I noticed Eggster's utility use and the paths he took when entering sites. For instance, on A site Lotus, I used to throw my teleport towards drop with a specific lineup or solo push through the smoke A main, but this entry gave me pretty inconsistent results. Teleporting to drop could get me kills, but it was too much of a gamble, and flashing out of the A main smoke wasn't always effective, especially when enemies were hiding on site. But when I watched Eggster play Yoru, I noticed something interesting. He rarely went through A main. Instead, he almost always entered A site through tree, usually with a couple of teammates. He'd open the door, send a clone in through the right side, and then follow that up with a teleport. With his team, he'd head into tree, flash TP out for an entry, or use a fake TP, exit tree, and focus on getting trades. This one example taught me how I should change my playstyle. I needed to optimize my lineups and pathing for lower risk instead of just trying to force an entry. I realized I had to tone down my teleports onto site and instead fake them, choosing to enter site with my teammates. As Yoru, it's smarter to let your second duelist lead the charge onto site while you back them up, rather than always solo flash TPing. But the most important aspect to Eggster's gameplay was how he played defense. I used to think that a good Yoru defense meant aggressively peeking with my one-way flashes or with teammates. And while that did work, it gives very inconsistent results. Sure, sometimes it'd get me a free kill, but plenty of times enemies would dodge the flash and take me out instantly. So when I watched Eggster, I saw a different approach. He plays Yoru more passively on defense, especially when he's got good guns. At the start of the round, he tosses his teleport to one site and holds the other. He waits for the enemies to enter site. As they execute his site, he tosses a flash and swings, often netting him easy multi-kills. Don't get me wrong though, there are many times you need to play aggressive on defense. I would still play aggressive to gather information or to stop attackers from rushing a site. However, constantly peeking for kills is a really bad idea, especially in higher ranks. Gathering info, then retreating to site and waiting for the enemies to rush can be more effective than risking a peek for one kill and instant death. With those 3 changes to my gameplay, I was ready to go back to ranked. And let's see how I did.
You're way better, you're him.
Lost, close right, get it.
Over here.
I'm blind out. Nice. Yeah, Yoru.
I'll pick them apart.
So after solo queuing for over a month and reaching Immortal, let's ask the big question. Is Yoru worth playing to rank up faster? Well, it depends. In my opinion, if you are good with both Jett and Omen, you may be a good fit for Yoru. He combines the aggressive nature of Jett with the outplay potential of Omen. But for most players, I don't think playing Yoru will help you rank up at a faster rate. Firstly, you need to go into a custom game and spend a lot of hours learning his lineups and practicing different flash spots. It also takes a lot of practice to use his abilities correctly. Slightly mistiming or misplacing your utility can cause you to lose a round, and that's seriously frustrating. Yeah, I admit, no agent can match the satisfaction of playing Yoru well. It takes a lot of effort, but a good Yoru is definitely the hardest agent to go up against in ranked. By the way, I recently created a merch store and I'd appreciate if you check it out. Thank you to everyone who supports the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.